In today's video, we're going to get rid of every single quarterback's biggest weakness. Now, in the case of certain QBs, when, their biggest weakness is something we can't really fix in Madden, then we'll go to their next biggest weakness. Let's start with the Bears, man. Justin Fields and a lot of other young guys, a lot of rookies, biggest weakness is the lack of experience. And with great experience comes great awareness. So we're going to give him a plus 20 to his awareness. Joe Burrow's biggest weakness is his offensive line. Not one guy is in the 80s. We're gonna give everyone on the O-line in Cincinnati a plus 10. So now hopefully he won't be the most sacked quarterback in the league. Josh Allen in real life does not have a weakness. He can do it all. The team around him is really good. The only thing is the fact that he plays in the same conference and at the same time as a prime Patrick Mahomes. But since we can't fix that, we're gonna increase his awareness. Somehow it's only a 79. We'll give him a plus 15 up to a 94. Teddy Bridgewater's biggest weakness has to be his throw power. Somehow it's only an 86. There are 41 other quarterbacks that have a higher throw power. We'll make that a plus 5 up to a 91. Baker had a down season, and I feel like a lot of it was just the decision making, just making the easy play, the right read. And for that, I think his awareness needs to get improved. We're gonna give him a plus 15. Brady's biggest weakness is father time. Man's already a 99 overall, so stat-wise, there's not much we can do. We're gonna decrease his age from 44 and make him 30 again. Kyler Murray's is pretty obvious, that height and weight. If he was like Josh Allen size, this man would have been scrambling all over the place in the playoffs. He's gonna go from 5'10", 207 to 6'5", 237 pounds of muscle. Herbert doesn't have any weaknesses himself, but the team around him gets injured every season at an alarming rate. But because injuries are turned off, we'll go with their next biggest weakness, which is their kicker. In their last game of the season, in which they lost by 3 in overtime, their kicker Hopkins went 1 of 2, while the Raiders kicker went 5 of 5. So they're gonna increase Dustin Hopkins overall from 72 to 82 and one of the top 5 kickers in the NFL. And we gave him focused kickers, so if they miss any at this point, I don't know what to tell you. Patrick Mahomes' biggest weakness is, unfortunately, the off-the-field drama surrounding his family. There's nothing we can do about that in Madden. So, instead, we're going to focus on his offensive line. Now, it's not the same exact offensive line that allowed the most pressures in a Super Bowl ever, back when they played the Bucks. But that's really Mahomes' only weakness on the field. So, again, we'll give everyone a plus 10. And the Chiefs are going to be even more dangerous. It's sad to see Carson go out like this. There's reports that the Colts want to move on from him. I was a big fan when he was in Philly. I just wish this man had better decision making. He has one of the best run games around him, good defense, solid players to throw to. It's just that awareness. We're gonna give him a plus 20. So now hopefully he stops making throws like this. Now I'm gonna be honest, the Cowboys and Dak, in Madden at least, don't really have a weakness. Really good quarterback, really good running backs, phenomenal wide receiver core, pretty good tight ends, one of the best offensive lines in the league. The only thing I can think of for Dak is something he can't even control. He plays on the Cowboys in the 21st century, a franchise that frankly, has been pretty bad since the 2000s started. If he was on the Cowboys in the 90s, his career is probably a lot different. He probably has a couple Super Bowls, but right now his team is just cursed during this century. So to help them out, they're going to be wearing the 1995 alternate classics in every single game they play. Hopefully that helps them feel like it's the 90s again. Tua's stats are actually not bad at all, man. His accuracy, short, medium, deep are all 80 and above. Throw power is lacking a little bit. Same with awareness. However, if you saw the Dolphins last year, you know that even though they didn't finish with the last place rushing attack, they were horrendous. Like, it was, if you had any of them in fantasy, you know what I'm saying. Plus 10 to their top 2 running backs. So now he has 284 overall running backs, but the run game doesn't stop there. Obviously, the line is a big part of that. He has 4 guys in the 60s. We're gonna give all of them a plus 10 as well. It's bad when we made them better and they still only have 1 guy in the 80s. But hopefully with this improved support and cast, Tua can do a lot better. And then we have my quarterback, Jalen Hurts, man. He has a lot to work on, but he's very young. You know, he's very raw. His throw power is very low, 86. Same as Teddy B was before we upgraded him, but his decision making is probably his biggest weakness. So we're going to increase his awareness from 71 to 91, and hopefully he starts making better reads. Now we're looking at Matt Ryan, and just like Tom Brady, Father Time is his biggest weakness. He's already 36, but unlike Brady, he's not a 99 overall. So he has a lot to improve. First, we're going to decrease his age to 5 years to back when he won the MVP and was in the Super Bowl. But since that doesn't actually do anything, we're going to increase his throw power, give him a +5, and now it's up to a 90. Now I know Fitzmagic is the highest overall on the Commanders, but Heineke was starting for the majority of the season, and he actually has pretty good stats. This is a guy that with experience, with, you know, some years under his belt, he could definitely be an above average starter. So for right now, we're going to increase his biggest weakness, which is his awareness, lack of experience, +20 from a 72 to a 92. Seems like a lot of quarterbacks' biggest weaknesses are the decision making, and yeah, Jimmy G is no stranger to that being his biggest weakness. We're going to give him a +20 again, 78 to 98. Now he has no excuse. I promise I looked for other weaknesses, but a lot of these quarterbacks actually have decent stats, decent ratings. It's just their decision making or awareness that needed to be improved greatly. Daniel Jones is another one, 68 awareness, turns into 88. Maybe that'll help him stop tripping over his own 2 feet. Trevor Lawrence's biggest weakness was that his coach was Urban Meyer, but now that that's fixed, it has to be his lack of experience, which is why his awareness is so low. We're going to give it a +20 as well, up to a 92. Zack Wilson, same thing. His weakness is that, you know, he's just very young, very raw. +20 to his awareness from 65 to 85. Now, Jared Goff and the Lions, okay? His biggest weakness could be a number of things, but after digging a little bit, we saw that his lack of deep ball was probably his biggest weakness. Only 4 quarterbacks in 2021 had a lower yards per pass attempt. His short accuracy is 92, so it makes sense why he would want to dink and dunk, but his deep accuracy is in the 70s. We're going to give that a +10, and hopefully now he can start airing the ball out. Aaron Rodgers does not have many weaknesses on the field. He just won another MVP, but he didn't do too hot in the playoffs. Now I looked back at, you know, his one Super Bowl win and how he got there. It was when he didn't have to face any bad weather conditions. In a wild card round, he played against the Eagles, and while it was kind of cold, it wasn't snowing, it wasn't a blizzard. In the divisional round, as a 6th seed, they went to the Georgia Dome and beat Atlanta. And then in the NFC Championship, they went to Chicago and they won again on the road. The Super Bowl was in another dome, the Cowboys Stadium, which proves that Rodgers is actually better when he doesn't have to play in the bad weather conditions. So we're going to remove Rodgers' biggest weakness, and when they make the playoffs, we'll make sure that every game has good weather conditions. Cam Newton's biggest weakness has always been his accuracy. Short throw, medium throw, and deep throw will all get a +10. Now he's up to a 77. Mac Jones is a rookie, but he already has 80+ awareness. Throw power is horrendous, however. Somehow even lower than Teddy B, Hurts, and all the others. We're going to increase it from 85 to 90. Derek Carr's biggest weakness is something he was not able to control this season, and that's the off-the-field drama with his teammates/coach. You had the John Gruden stuff that happened. You had the Henry Ruggs stuff that happened. The Damon Arnett stuff that happened. And he still found a way to will his team to the playoffs. So to help Carr out, we're going to act like none of that happened. And we'll see if that can be the difference maker. There is no weakness for Matthew Stafford and the Rams. You guys just won the Super Bowl. You don't need any help. Lamar Jackson on paper has no weakness. Fastest quarterback, great awareness, great throw power, great accuracy. His wide receivers though, I do like Hollywood Brown. I think he could be a solid number 2, but as a number 1, I don't know. At least not at an 84 overall. Lamar needs better weapons. +5 to his top 5 wide receivers overalls. Hopefully this improved receiving core can help Lamar out immensely. Anyone that throws 30 interceptions in one season needs better decision making. We're gonna plop a +20 to Jameis's awareness from a 75 to a 95. Russell Wilson's biggest weakness is not being able to keep Chris Carson healthy. Russ won a Super Bowl with a healthy number 1 in beast mode. Now I'm not saying Carson is the same level as him, but a couple of years ago when Carson was healthy for an entire 16, his rating was an 87. The Seahawks were thriving. Injuries are already turned off. And we're gonna make Carson the same Madden rating he was during his last great season, which was an 87 overall. Much like Matty Ice and Tom Brady, Father Time is Big Ben's biggest weakness. So just like Matt Ryan, we're gonna decrease his age by 5, increase his throw power to a 90, and give him a plus 10 to awareness. Now he's back up to an 80 overall. Now I know he's the lowest overall quarterback on the team, but he did play the most snaps, and he didn't look too bad while doing it. Davis Mills' biggest weakness is probably his awareness, but one could argue that it's the lack of a run game. As putrid as the Dolphins were on the ground, somehow the Texans were even worse. Dead last in rushing. Obviously that's not good when you have a young quarterback. So we're gonna give a plus 15 to their starting 2 running backs. Ryan Tannehill's biggest weakness is that he takes way too many sacks. He was the second most sacked quarterback to only Joe Burrow. However, he has a way better offensive line. 3 guys in the 80s, so he really doesn't have any excuse until you look at his break sack. It's a putrid 65, so we're gonna give him a plus 20. And then finally, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, who have just a phenomenal roster. Great running back, elite wide receiver core, but then you get to the offensive line, which was actually not bad when it came to run blocking. It was pretty average. However, O'Neal was the only Vikings lineman to be average or better in pass blocking according to PFF, and his entire O-line was only 23rd overall on the season according to them. So he's gonna get a plus 10 boost to his entire offensive line. So now that we fixed every quarterback's biggest weakness, so let me know your predictions on who's gonna benefit the most, who's winning the entire thing. Let me know in the comment section. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. And let's get into the simulation. In the AFC, the Titans, Steelers with a younger Big Ben, Ravens with an improved wide receiver core, Raiders with no off the field drama, Texans with a much better run game, Patriots with a stronger arm Mac Jones, and the Browns with a smarter Baker make it to the playoffs. The Chiefs, Chargers, and Bengals all missed, along with the Bills. This is unbelievable, man. We really shook up the AFC. The Cowboys are back to playing like it's the 90s again. 16-1, first in the NFC. Packers and the Rams, of course, both made it. The Saints with a much smarter Jameis make it. The Panthers with a more accurate Cam make it. The Vikings with a much improved O-line. And then a taller, bigger Kyler helps the Cardinals squeak into the playoffs. The Niners, Bucks, Eagles, and Seahawks did not make it. Dustin Hopkins somehow did horrible from field goal range, man. That's why the Chargers didn't make it. 16-23. What is that? Kickers are just cursed on the Chargers, man. It is what it is. Gonna check out some of the run games. The Dolphins did not have a 1,000-yard rusher. The Texans did, however. David Johnson helped get them to the playoffs. A healthy Chris Carson got over 1,000 yards. Unfortunately, it did not help them get to the postseason. Jared Goff got sacked the most. But look at Burrow and Tannehill all the way down here. You love to see it. Brady led everyone in passing yards. Winston and Matt Ryan end up in the top 3. Mahomes throws for the most touchdowns. Stafford and Heineke right behind him. Zeke takes home the MVP. Taylor and Henry right behind him. So now it's time for the playoffs on the AFC side. In the wild card round, Big Ben and the Steelers beat the Browns. Derek Carr and the no-drama Raiders beat the Texans. And Mac Jones and his super strength arm beat Lamar and the Ravens. On the NFC side, Green Bay takes care of business against the Cardinals. The Rams lose to Cousins in that improved offensive line. And the Saints beat a more accurate Cam than the Panthers. Divisional in the AFC, Mac Jones continues his winning ways. They beat the Titans. The Steelers and a younger Big Ben beat the Raiders. And then the Cowboys, just like they did in the 90s, kept on winning. They beat the Vikings. The Packers beat the Saints. And then they go to Dallas in a warm weather dome and beat them to go to the Super Bowl. They're playing against the Patriots, led by a stronger arm Mac Jones. That's all he needed. And I know 2 of the Packers wins came at home, but you guys do know that you can change the weather, right? So we made sure they were not playing in the blizzard. And you can see, man, maybe that's what's holding Aaron Rodgers back. Right now they're winning in the Super Bowl, 13-point lead in the 4th quarter. Could that have been his biggest weakness and the biggest hindrance in the NFL? Nice move by Damon Harris. 3rd and goal at the 7. Mac Jones needs to make a play. Play action. Za'Darius with the strip sack fumble. It's going to bring up a 4th and goal. This right here is the game. Another blitz by the Packers, and this time it's out of bounds. The Packers are going to win this Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers got rid of his biggest weakness, and it ended up resulting in another Super Bowl win. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end. Why is it that on Twitch, you know, you can donate, but YouTube, they don't have that option, so I'm not saying y'all have to. I'm just gonna, from this point forward, leave the Cash App in the description. If anyone wants to, you know, leave a little tip, you don't have to, but I'll just give that option, man. Anyways, you guys have any ideas, let me know, man. Don't forget to follow all the socials. Destroy the like button, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Nobody's safe. Came from heaven, we fresh out the gate. And I look like I came from LA. From New Jersey, I look like LA. I'm a water, I'm forming LA. I'ma get it, it's mine for the tape. Ride the beamer when I'm out of state. Get a beat, almost got me a case. Go Olympic, I'm winning the race. 911 cause I'm killing the game. Talking crazy, I'm going insane. Shifting gears and I'm switching the lane. Hop on stage, just go entertain. Going up so I'm making a name.